Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back with another episode of YGOU University, where we're here to share some laughs, some knowledge, and maybe even help some of you casual players get better out there and turn you into a second-rate duelist with a second-rate deck. But with that being said, if you like our content, feel free to like, share, subscribe down below, and maybe check out our Patreon at YGOU University. It'd be greatly appreciated. Anyways, here are my awesome co-hosts,
Alex,
Kevin,
Bryce.
And for this segment, we're going to talk about what to expect from Tier 2 events. So regionals, OTS tournaments, nationals, YCSs. How to get a newer player prepared for them, whether they've never been there before and they've only heard stories or, horror stories, if you so will. What kind of players to expect. And yeah, just all around in general, what to expect from a big event.
So I'm going to say this, I'm going to preface this by this topic is going to be do as I say, not as I do, because everybody in this room knows my regionals and how awesome they go for me usually.
Is that sarcasm?
Yeah, it is. Because the
I-
Omaha regional, I showed up 3 minutes before the event started. Needed to find a bunch of cards, found them all.
I remember
Nice.
you messaged me
Typed
when
in
I
my-
was sitting outside the event, and you were just like, "Has it started yet?" And I was like, "No, man, no." I was like, but you're kind of far away.
Weren't wrong.
Punching
Filled
it
out
past
my deck
everyone.
list right last minute. Like I'm in line. They almost cut me off. They're just like, "Hold on," and then Richard's like, "No, he's good." So I was on like this is panic mode. So I was like, "Shoot!"
It was like you're almost destined to win, but
But
you didn't.
get deck checked. Didn't fill out my deck list right, obviously, because it was 30 seconds
And
before.
you're in the line.
And they could read it. I'm surprised.
Yeah, me too. And
That should have been
then
your John. Be like, you can't even fucking read that. This is right. Like,
got a game loss. Had to take the cards out of my deck because they were not on my deck list, but in my deck. Whoops. And then I just dropped.
I just want to say something. I didn't even know OTS events were Tier 2 events.
Yeah, you get
So
regional
surprised
invites at
me.
them. They're better.
And also, I don't think I've ever played in one.
in an OTS
I don't think
tournament.
I've ever played in one. No. So
No, you had to have.
I've never played in one.
We had them at like underground and stuff
Oh, I didn't play them. Because you get like those special mats for them.
for winning.
Yeah.
I've never played in any of those ones.
I was
Maybe
just
you just
thinking
never
about
won.
how that one time at Mark's shop when you won the tournament and he walks over with the Gaga Girl mat and you're like, "Oh, sweet, I didn't even know about this." I'm not sure if that one counts as an OTS mat, if that's like what the name of those tournaments were then.
No, that was just
but-
Mark had
No,
that
it was
for-
just
okay.
Mark
it was
had
the
that from
Gaga
judging.
Judge girl
Oh,
match.
oh yeah, yeah.
It was a judge mat, and he got it from judging, and then he used it as prize support, which is tight.
Yeah, I've only used that mat twice, and both the times I played Austin while using it, and he just got tilted.
That's great.
Interesting. So yeah.
So to learn from my lessons, I guess fill out your deck list before you go.
Yeah, there's a good tool you can use for that called duelingbook.com. You can build your deck on there, and then there's an export button, and you can do KDE deck list as one of the options, and it'll just let you click print and print off your deck list, and it'll say, "Hey, do you want a registration form too?" And then yeah, so you can just print it off, and
That's sick.
yeah.
Yep, I definitely
That's
should have done that. Bring cash to the tournament because a lot of those tournament organizers do not accept credit cards.
Yeah, or they
Vendors?
have the fee to use like
Yeah.
the phone
They
like
should have
readers.
like
Oh, yeah.
they should have like a Dropbox for regionals, like an online Dropbox, and you just send it to them to save paper.
Like pre-reg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That'd be tight.
that would be.
So then it's just in their system.
You hear that,
Yeah.
Jonathan Konami?
Work on it. If you need someone to help you work on it, hit me up. I wouldn't be able to, but I would try.
Just talk to me.
Yep, Bruce DeMoose at gmail.com.
Close enough.
I don't know. I like regionals because it's like you get to really know like your region. So like the Midwest people, like Kansas City people, like I feel like Omaha and Kansas City we all know each other pretty well. And so I like because it's like meetup points.
In Des Moines.
Yeah. But I meant like I get to see my Kansas City friends even in Chicago, and it's like, oh, sweet, I get to see it. And then you have even more like a broader community feel.
Yeah, they just kind of do coke now, so not really about that.
Okay, well.
But you bring it up on all of our podcasts.
Oh fuck, my bad.
So for our newer players out there for not tier 2 events, as you've heard, you're obviously going to need a deck list. You're going to need a registration form. You're going to need a form of ID unless you are under the age of 18. Then you're going to need a parent or guardian. You want to always make sure to keep an eye on your cards, because not only do you like your cards, but the guy next to you, he might like your cards just as much.
I can sell them for a profit.
Phil and Oscar were always my guardian at those tournaments when we were younger. I was just like, could you guys sign this form for me? They're just like, yeah. I'm like, thanks.
You're my guardian.
Well, I'd usually ride with them, so then just
They are your guardian.
yeah, technically.
Your parents let them take you.
Yeah, actually,
Maybe you're not.
it's kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Thinking back on it, that's weird, but I
Mark
guess it
was
was
my
just
guardian. That's scary.
That's weird.
Okay. Ugh.
He's still my guardian.
What are
at
you, he's
heart.
like 4th or 5th kid?
First, actually.
Well,
He
yeah.
took me to Famous Dave's once. It was real cute. We had a date.
Mark from Lincoln.
No.
Mark Hill.
That was a joke. That was a joke within a joke.
So, what was your guys' first tier 2 event that wasn't a regional?
That wasn't a regional?
Nationals
YCS
in
Kansas
Columbus,
City.
Ohio.
One at a time. We'll start with Alex.
Oh, it was YCS Kansas City. I played Plant Synchro was like the most played deck then, but I didn't have Reborn Tengu, so I just put in 3 quick draw Synchrons in that spot.
I think that was actually the first one that I played in. I went to the Nationals the summer before, but I didn't have my invite, so I just like fucked around, and Michael's dad drove us with in the van that you ran to.
Wasn't that
in
Philly?
Oscar. Yeah, or Pittsburgh?
No.
Or Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
which is
that was
coming,
my
which
first-
is
yeah.
the
But-
Nationals
Oh, yeah, 'cause
location
you didn't go
this
to
year.
Charlotte with us.
But yeah, the first one I played in was also YCS Kansas City, and they haven't had one since because there's like 400 people.
Yeah.
But it was pretty fun. I remember I picked up a deck the day before that I'd never played, and it was a huge mistake.
I guarantee.
I still do that today.
That's the Bryce
so,
move.
Yeah.
I feel like if they did another YCS Kansas City, it'd be pretty big now, because people just travel for Yu-Gi-Oh. Like it's nothing nowadays.
It's true. That was 2011. It's 2019. Like, planes fly cheaper these days.
Allegiant, Spirit, all those.
And they got so
Southwest.
much free oil from the Middle East. Like, our oil prices
Oh.
compared to
That's good.
2011 have, like, halved.
Well, that's the reason Venezuelan's economy is in the garbage right now.
Because they don't have oil anymore.
No, because the oil prices dropped.
Oh, yeah. That's
Not to
right.
have
Yep.
2 separate conversations at the same time, but
No, we were
should
keeping
stay
it
on topic.
separate.
Michael, isn't
no,
that
no, but we were not supposed to. do that.
YCS Kansas City? Is that the one you got feature matched and lost?
No.
That was,
No.
That was that year's Nationals.
Yeah, 2011.
Pittsburgh.
But no, the year before that, 2010. 2010, I went to Charlotte, I think, and then I also went to Nationals that year. And at Charlotte, my dad got 9th in Swiss, so good for the coach. And I went like X3 with like Infernities with like 1 barrier.
Lit.
Mm.
That was so much fun, only having 1 barrier.
You should have asked me. I had one.
You weren't there at Charlotte.
Yeah.
I asked before I left. I asked like the week leading up to that event.
I remember you asked me if I had light imprisoning mirrors. I probably still have it on my phone. I'm just being honest.
That'd be hyphy. My first tournament was Nationals in Columbus, Ohio. So that was what, 2012?
Yeah, that was my
Mhm.
first Nationals.
2012. That was like my first
The
big
one with the
tournament.
blackout. It was pretty sick.
That it was the vending area was like a mile away from
It was like on the 2nd floor. There was like
Oh,
2 floors.
yeah,
Yeah.
you remember you had to walk all that distance
I
to get
forgot
to the
about
vending
that.
area. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
like
you
if
had
you
to
were trying to
leave
go
and then
back
there
and
was the
forth, it
volleyball
was
tournament.
awful. Yeah, they had the volleyball convention there.
And I actually knew people that were playing volleyball there, so it was weird.
Jealous.
I
Your sister?
walked by and I was like, "That's my sister's old team." And I was like, "Oh, hey." And they're like, "The fuck are you doing here? Megan's not here." And I was like, "I'm at the nerd tournament. What's up?" And they're like, "The fuck?"
Yo, what's up with you? I see you're wearing some Spanx.
That reminds me, Tyler Tabman went around with some of the Kansas City people, and he was hitting on girls saying, "I'm the Yu-Gi-Oh national champion."
Before he actually won
Before
the
he actually
championship?
became the Yu-Gi-Oh national champion at that tournament. It was so hypey. He was just talking about it all Friday, Saturday, just going up to all these volleyball people like, "My name's Tyler. I'm the Yu-Gi-Oh national champion." They're just like, "What's Yu-Gi-Oh?"
Oh my gosh.
And then on the way there, Dustin hit a deer in his van.
Aw.
That whole trip was very like
And the
memorable.
blackout.
It was crazy.
I remember because I went with Samir and Byron, and one of them, at our hotel, they gave us candles, and then one of them lit like a lampshade on fire. Like, I think they were trying to put it in like the lampshade, like where the bulb was. So they like took
Like
the
to
bulb
make
out.
it like a lantern.
Yeah. So they took the bulb out and tried to put the candle in there, but they just lit the lampshade on fire. And then just like, I think I was in the bathroom, but then I like walk out and I was like, what the? And then someone just grabbed like a wet cloth and just like beat it.
It sounds like Samir started the fire and Byron was the one to put it out.
I
I
don't know.
feel like that's probably the case.
I don't remember. Who
I
put
hope
it
so,
out.
anyways, because
Nah.
one of them is a dad.
Well, I mean, he wasn't a dad at the time.
No. But I meant now.
Oh, okay. Samir started the fire.
So what do you guys think is the biggest differences between like a regional to like a YCS national event, and like what people should know when they're transitioning from that?
So out of
Like a higher
locals, you
level.
have people to talk to immediately because they're in an immediate vicinity.
Mm.
Regionals, you have people to talk to that are like a couple yards away.
Mm.
YCSs, you're gonna wander aimlessly for a while until you find
Yeah.
somebody you know.
Yeah,
And then there's the like,
definitely.
there's the like, not like massive skill gap, but like, usually at like a tier 2 event like that, you're always, not always, 70% of the time you're probably playing against somebody who's pretty good. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
there
Even
are-
if we're just talking about like like tournament experience.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, skill gap.
Yeah, I think it becomes really apparent from going from regional to YCS, like the humongous difference usually.
Yeah, I think like one of the biggest things I noticed, especially like, was just like the venue, the size of the venue, just like walking around with like how many tables there are, and like I know especially like the first couple like big events I went to, like it was just kind of like
Overwhelming.
Yeah, like overwhelming and like taking it back. I'm like, I can't believe there's many people are at a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
really puts things into perspective. You're
Yeah,
like, wow,
definitely.
there's actually this many people that play this game. And most of them haven't even showed up to this tournament. Like, these are all the people that are crazy enough to travel for these things. There's a lot of people that just stay at home. Like California, California regionals get up to the level of a
Like
YCS.
1200, yeah.
And, like, to California people, I don't know if it's still true, but, like, winning a California regional, like, means more than just winning a YCS because, like, it's your home turf, essentially. I don't know. But I always heard that, like, if you win a California regional, like, it's more prominent because it's just, like, there's so many good people there.
Yeah.
Californians, they're always so
Pretentious.
honorable about like home turf. Sure, yeah. I mean, if you that's the
Prideful,
word.
I guess, is what
Yeah,
you're trying to
yeah.
go for.
They're very prideful.
Yeah, that's very true. Same with, like, New York, I think.
Nah.
I think that East-West Coast usually is their, like...
I've been to Pittsburgh and the East Coast, and that's it.
You realize, like, I think going to the first big event, I didn't, like, it took a couple events, but you start to realize, like, all these people, like, know each other eventually. And you start getting to know all these people.
That
That's
didn't happen
another...
to me.
Like, eventually you see somebody at a YCS, then you see them at, like, maybe a regional, and then you see
Yeah.
them at another YCS, and you're just like, dude, okay, and then you start, like, with now, like, technology, Facebook and all that stuff, Instagram, like, you can stay in contact with these people. And I think the prominence of, like, Discord, like, discussion groups, discussion Facebook pages, like, all that stuff, like, it's elevated the game really high, too.
I agree.
I think one thing to like be conscious of as a new player going to those higher tier events is that people are going to try to like kind of scum you in the game and like even in trades and stuff. And so my best advice in that would be assertive, like stand up for yourself.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
Like if it's in a trade or even in the game, you can ask a judge what to do. And if you don't believe that judge, you can appeal to the head judge.
Definitely, you have to play differently out of YCS than I would say like a regional or local level. as in like how you play, the pace of your play. Like at a YCS, I'm a lot more like really strict with my columns. I'm a lot slower, like announcing everything, making sure they understand what I'm doing, so that there's no like
Miscommunication.
yeah. But at a local level, it's kind of like you're like, okay, yeah, and you don't really talk about things, and you don't like sit there and like, I'm going to use this on this, and you make it very clear, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, usually just newer players don't understand the like power like that they have.
Yeah, and like where they
Yeah.
should be assertive.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like if your opponent's
If you think
shuffling their
you're-
hand for like the 5th time, tell them to do something.
Yeah.
You know?
If you
Like
if
your
you think you're
opponent's no
getting
better
cheated.
than you are.
I think
Your opponent has no more authority than you throughout the match. You guys are both equals in the match.
Like no matter how confident they sound.
Yeah. If they start taking charge of things, then you are more than welcome to have that same attitude.
You take the bull by the horns.
watch out for the people who try to. Oh no, maybe I shouldn't say that. 'Cause I'll say it anyways. Watch out for the people that try to just like build rapport with you as soon as you sit down, because like they might come off as like a nice person, but like they could be trying to build that connection.
You should still be
to-
skeptical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because they were
are
nice
your
to you.
opponent. They
Yes.
are your opponent. I mean, there's a certain level
They
of
want you to
respect and
lose.
sportsmanlike conduct you have with them, but it's all in the game. You know. So when you are playing them, your main objective is to win. So doing things that are in your best interest of following all the policies and rules, being ethical about it, but also there's a point where you're trying to win. And your opponent's also trying to win. So they're going to do everything in their power to win as well. So just be like conscious of that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean like you shouldn't be nice to people, or like it's weird to say like watch out for people that are nice because they might try to use that against you, but like obviously be nice back to them, but just realize that just because they're nice to you doesn't mean they're not going to try to take advantage of you.
Sure. Agreed. 100%. Like there's been multiple opponents I've had a great match with and we laughed and it was jokingly, and there's other people that take it way too like you can tell the mood or the vibe of the
As soon
match
as
and
they
you're just
sit
like
down, yeah.
you're like, okay, no, this guy's going to play like he's here to play, not here to have like
Not a fun
Yeah.
serious game.
yeah,
Have a
it's a serious game. Yeah. And so it just kind of
Frickin'
changes
James.
everything.
You owe me a Coke.
I've definitely had the people
That's a
that
Texas size 10-4.
but I definitely had the people that sit down and they come off as like the really nice person, and then they just start sharking you for like little stuff, and then
It happened at Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it happen in Chicago, like 2 like matches down from me. This guy like he like drew to 6 cards and shuffled his hand, and then his opponent immediately shot his hand up and was just like he drew an extra card. And in any scenario, people just be like put one at the bottom or top or whatever, you know. But then like the judge was like game lost, blah 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 blah, and I was just like, oh my god.
Not to be that guy or anything.
No, it is
but that's
fair.
what I would do.
Yeah.
I mean, he drew and shuffled his hand.
Yeah.
I agree, 100%. I would like for me, I agree at a YCS level, but it's just be cognizant of little mistakes like that are going to cost you.
Yeah, being aware of tournament policy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm more saying
There
is
we
like
go.
like he probably wasn't thinking too much and just drew the card when in reality you should probably be cognizant and just that's why I said play meticulously and slow is making sure you don't make any errors like that. That's what I always do.
Well, I think we should maybe start wrapping up this one. Does anyone have any last comments before we go to the next topic?
Have fun.
Have fun.
Know your deck, like inside and
Yes.
out. Know how many
Mhm.
copies that you're playing of a card, like what your side deck's looking like, what your strategy is. Yeah, know your deck inside and out.
If you know your deck, it's gonna you'll play faster, and that's like kind of what you want to do.
And
So,
you'll be more aware of like certain interactions to where you might not have to call the judge over because like you know what your cards do and your opponent will probably know what your cards do, and if you sound confident enough,
yeah.
like they'll be more likely to agree with you if they are unsure.
Alex, any closing thoughts?
Nope.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, any of you first timers out there, this segment has helped you. I wish I would have had like a video like this, whether it was for my first regional or YCS or nationals.
Oh, for sure.
Because yeah, it was very overwhelming. But yeah, with that.
I remember, like Bryce was saying, like walking in, you're just like, this place is huge. There's actually going to be this many people in here. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's a very overwhelming experience. But with that, we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Stay classy.
See you later, alligators.